Not only do we use different amounts of words, words can mean different things to men and women. For example, now to most men, 5 minutes means 5 minutes. To a lot of women, it can be an indefinite period of time. Are you ready yet? 5 more minutes! As we discussed, men understand nothing. Women don't understand the significance of nothing. If a woman says nothing, look out, it's something. Oh, dude, man, I don't know what happened. What happened? I don't know, I asked my wife what she was upset about. What'd she say? Well, she said nothing. Get out of the house, man, run now, get out! Now, this is not a word, it's a vocalization. It's a sigh. Now, when a man sighs, it means everything is good with life. When a woman sighs, it means you are an idiot. Now, when a man says, go ahead, he's being polite. When a woman says, go ahead, she's giving you the opportunity to explain whatever stupid thing it was you just did. But you need to be very careful in the explanation because it's very likely to be followed by a sigh. Which will lead to an argument over nothing. And then you ain't gonna have sex again for at least 5 minutes. Women's brains come with lots of extra RAM. So they can remember the details of everything. Men's brains come with only the minimum basic requirements to keep us breathing and eating. Okay, that's good. That's why men, a lot of men, we don't hang on to lots of details. They don't stick with us. You know, when an event happens, we just categorize it as an event. All right. Whereas women, it's not just the event, it's all the details connected with an event. You'll run into this when a friend of your family or something will call and you know, she just had a baby. And then you tell your wife, oh, so-and-so's called, they had the baby. And she'll say, well, what was it? And he says, well, it was a baby. Well, what kind of baby? I don't know, it's a baby. What difference does it make? Well, how long was it? Well, I don't know. You know, how long, how tall, how many, you know, how much did it weigh? I don't know, under 20 pounds. What, you know, just... But there's detail. You know, a woman will come up to a guy and say, how was your day? And then we go to the RAM, and all it's there is that it was a day. And we say, it was fine. And she'll say, well, what happened? And we go to the RAM, and there's nothing there. And we panic. And we go, Nothing. But women, they've got all this, That's why when a guy retells a story, it's usually pretty much just a bottom line kind of thing. What happened? This happened, that happened, we're done. When a lot of women share what happened, they relive the event in excruciatingly painful detail. I mean, you are there. Yeah. And it can drive, couples can really fight over this. My wife and I still fight over this one. This just drives us crazy. She just, sweetheart, when your husband asks the question, what did the plumber say? He really doesn't want to know what he said. Well, I said, how you doing? He said, it's fine. I said, it was a pretty nice day we're having. He said, yeah. He said, got any kids? No, what did he say? Bottom line, details. Men's brains, women's brains. It also affects not only the words we use and stuff, but also it affects how we listen. You go, yeah. Women listen. But we listen too, we're just different. A lot of women say, men's problems, they got selective listening. You know what that is, right? That's when the wife will say something like, honey, go to the store, lay down the mulch, wash and wax the car, get the kids at school, rent some videos, and finish the rest of the dishes. And then he runs that through his selective filter. And all he hears is, honey, go lay down and get some rest, okay? But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm really talking about is the difference between single tasking and multitasking. By and large, again, interpolate for your relationships. Again, not everybody's the same way, but by and large, men are single taskers. We do one thing, and we do it pretty well. Women can handle lots of things. Guys aren't wired that way. That's why it's not a good idea to put a man in charge of more than one kid at a time. We can handle the one. Well, sweetheart, you're doing such a good job with Johnny. Wow. Well, where are the rest of the kids? We got other kids? But man, we just I'm a classic single tasker. I'm so bad, I'll be going along and I'll forget the one thing I was doing. I'm completely lost. I need to reboot my brain. Say, whoa, where am I? But men, generally speaking, we do it. Now, what we do very well. One of the reasons that men are so good at what they do is because of this ability to completely focus on just one task. Men usually will rise to the top of any profession, even those dominated sometimes by women. The best hair designers in the world, a lot of times, are men. Best cooks in the world, men. Why is that? Because we have this unique ability to focus on just one thing and do it extremely well, okay? Women are wired differently. They're just and my wife can be, in the living room, watching TV, reading a book, making knickknacks, and talking on the phone all at the same time. It's just amazing to me. Of course, I'll come in and I'll assume she's not watching TV. Hey! What? I was watching that! How can you be watching that? You're making knickknacks and such. Put it back! We're just... Now this affects the way that we listen, because when a man is doing something, he generally cannot hear anything. It's just true. Women are not like that. Women can be doing lots of things and holding 3 different conversations. Just, now, she'll walk into a room and she'll see her husband reading the newspaper. And she assumes, I multitask. Therefore, he must multitask. But he's running the newspaper reading program, man. He can only run one program at a time. He's not hearing jack. And this makes women very angry. But you just need to come over and you got to close the newspaper reading program. You got to load the Listen to Me program. But you got to wait a minute. He needs to reboot. I didn't know you was here. You know? You laugh, but I'm serious, girls. If you see a man doing something, unless he's wired differently, do not be giving him vital information. Because this is a train wreck waiting to happen. You'll have this conversation again. When you swear he told you, and he swears you never told him. You know you told him, but in his brain, you never said jack to him. The problem here is, guys, we get ourselves in trouble because men have this natural defense mechanism that at all costs, do not stop doing what you're doing. So when someone starts talking to you, we automatically have this defense mechanism that goes, uh-huh. Yep. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And we keep doing what we're doing, and we're not, and she thinks you're listening to her. But you're not listening. You need to stop what you're big boys, stop what you're doing, turn to the girl, and pay attention to her. So it's not all on the ladies. You're big boys, when she starts talking, stop! Listen to the girl, and then let him go back to what he was doing. Sounds fair, right? Well, I started doing this, and I thought, this is great. I'm doing a lot better. I'm watching the single tasking thing. Yeah, okay, what? And then I'll say, I didn't hear that. And I'll make her back up, and she'll tell me the info, and I got it. Okay. And I thought I was doing a lot better, but still I was getting myself in trouble. She'd walk up and say, it's 6 o'clock, are you ready? For what? That happened to half you guys tonight, right? We're doing what? I told you. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. And off to the races we would go. And I thought, man, what in the world? Because I'm watching this single tasking. I don't remember her saying anything about it. And I thought I was losing my hearing. So I went to a doctor. True story. I went to the doctor. And I walked in. He said, well, how you doing? I said, oh, okay. He said, what seems to be the problem? I said, well, I think I'm losing my hearing. And he says, well, you're getting up there in age, Ears are one of the first things to go. And I said, well, that's one of the first. I can handle that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But, so I said, well, go over to Nurse Cratchit. She'll test your ears, And so I follow the lady, and I walk into this room, and they got this cheap box on a table with some real chintzy headphones. And she says, all right, now, put on the headphones. When you hear the beep, raise your hand. If you don't hear the beep, don't raise your hand. Apparently, I look really stupid. So anyway, I turned around and we began. As, pretty soon she goes, really, you can hear all that? And I turned around and said, yeah, why? She's hitting the box. I don't know, piece of junk. What's the matter with this thing? So what's the problem? She said, according to this, you can hear what cats and dogs can hear. I don't know what to... She's hitting the box. She says, I'm going to send you to a specialist. You ever been to the specialist? They got this Yo Mama soundproof room, the thick door, You got the person, sitting behind the glass, you feel like you're in a people aquarium. Sir, would you sit down? But Anyway, so at the time we lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and right downtown Green Bay, there was a place called Eye and Ear Associates. I'd never heard of them before. I had no reason to hear from them. But she said, I'm going to send you these people. They have all this fancy equipment. And so she takes the doctor's pad and she writes Eye, Ear, and she abbreviates Associates and hands it to me. I said, what kind of doctor is this? It's a true story. She says, what do you mean? I said, I heard of eye, ear, and throat. I never heard of this. She said, let me see that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. She wrote out associates. I went, oh, okay. Thought I was going to be in for a very uncomfortable test there for a minute. So I go to the eye, ear, and, doctor, and I get in there, and I sit down, and she's behind the glass, and she has to push the button to talk. Okay, now put on the headphones. When you hear the beep, spin around, and we began. I kid you not, she goes, really, you can hear all that? I felt like a moron, all right? I take the printout to the specialist. He goes, what are you doing here? You got better ears than me. I said, I don't know, man. She says, are you ready? 6 o'clock. I just already saw it. No, yet. So I go home and I walk in the door and she says, well, what'd the doctor say? She doesn't sound like that, by the way. I say that because people used to come up to me saying, she doesn't have a voice like that. I just do it for effect. By the way, we've been married for 32 years. We have 2 grandsons. Very cool. Beautiful boys. One's 10 months old, the other one's 8, and they are just such a delight. I love grandchildren because now it's payback. Come here. You want some more sugar? There you go. Okay. Bye. My son Philip's here with us. He's running the audio, and on our 30th wedding anniversary, Phil gives me a call up and he says, hey, Dad, 30 years. That's really something. I said, well, thank you, sir. I said, but truthfully, Phil, I said, it only feels like 10 minutes. He goes, really? I said, yeah, 10 minutes underwater. Oh, lighten up. All the girls, oh, I can't believe he said that. What is she going to think? It's just the joke box, all right? Just the joke. So I come back from my ear thing. She said, well, what'd they say? I said, well, they said I can hear what cats and dogs can hear. She says, well, it's not your problem. Your problem is just don't pay attention. And I thought, but I've been paying attention. I was watching this single tasking thing, and so I thought, I'm going to do a test. I want to see how far she gets away before I can't hear her. So the next day we're sitting in the kitchen, and she comes up, and she's talking to me, la, 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 and I go, uh-huh. And then she walks a little bit further away. She says, la, 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 la. I go, okay, I can hear that. And she gets a little further away, la, 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 just doing multitasking thing. Then she goes into the living room, la, 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 la. And now she goes into another room. She's now on the other side of the house, still talking to me. I said, hey! She yells back, what? I said, I'm on the other side of the house. She goes, you don't listen anyway. The next day, I caught her. This time she goes upstairs. She's on another floor, still giving me vital information. That's when it started dawning on me. Wait a minute. We might single task, but these women so multitask, they just keep doing what they're doing, and whether or not you're in the same area code is irrelevant. Relevant. There's irrelevant. That's the word. I had a guy the other day says, my wife's like that. She'll be talking to me. She's by the dryer, and she'll be telling me something important. La 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 la. Then she'll stick her head in the dryer, reach for something. La 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 la. And boy, you better do that, or you're gonna be in big trouble. She still does that to me. We'll be like a real busy highway, just all kinds of noise, and she'll be talking. Something that's really important. So you better be careful about it. What? I didn't hear what you said. Laws of physics, girls, it applies to you. It would help if your husband was in the same area code. Okay. Now, I first shared this story at a men's conference that I was speaking at, and I thought it was just a funny story that had happened to me. But as I'm sharing it, all these men's heads are going. I had one guy come up to me afterwards. He says, Pastor, I'll be in the bathroom. The door is closed. The fan is on. There's tile everywhere, so sound just bounces around in there. I'm standing there. All I can hear is the sound of rushing water. And she's still talking to me! I figured out that's why we miss sometimes, girls. What? What? Another mystery solved. Girls, don't be so multitasking that you're doing a gazillion things giving him vital information. All right? And especially if he's doing something. I'm telling you, this simple thing that I'm talking to you creates more arguments and more frustrations in marriages, and we're fighting over nothing. Well, you're really married to a multitasker when during a moment of intimate passion, she suddenly blurts out, "Oh, by the way, the plumber says the toilets are broken." Focus, woman, focus! But man, she can make love to you and plan next week's dinners and, just, think about the toilets. Oh, it's all the same to her. I need my tablet back up here.